What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing fantastic out there. So today I have got a very unique knife for you guys. This is one that if you have been watching the channel since Blade Show Texas, if you watched that coverage there of Blade Show, you've seen this knife once already. Talked about it a little bit in that video. It was one of the last knives we looked at. So make sure that if you guys haven't watched that, go back and check it out. So this is from Trivisa. There's no markings on it about what knife we have, but this is their more premium box experience. You got a little slip and then the box itself. Inside the box, you got microfiber, typical paperwork, and then you get a little pouch, and you get that with most of your Trivisa knives. But inside is a very unique knife. So this is the Trivisa Intruder. So this is a Tasknives knife. That's Tasknives. He has some really unique styling, just big beefy knives, and then he does little itty bitty slip joints. But his fixed blades are just absolutely beastly. Again, make sure you check out that Blade Show Texas video just to make sure that that you guys get to see some of his other stuff. So I have been carrying this knife for a little bit. I've carried it a couple of days. I've been playing with it a lot. So, full disclosure, the way you're going to see this knife today is not the way it comes out of the box. So in order to do this knife justice, I had to break it in. And I talked with the guys at the booth when we were looking at these knives. So this is a washer knife. So out of the box, these things are stiff. They're not really meant to be a fidgety knife either. These are meant to be a hard use / tactical / whatever you want it to be, but they're not flippy, super fidgety knives. But again, it does have the washers in there. You can take the washers out and polish them up and try to help with that break-in period, but it still needs a lot of break-in. And this is not the easiest knife to take apart either. So if you're not extremely familiar with the crossbar lock, with how these things work, with how the knives in general come apart, it is not one that I would spend a lot of time trying to take apart. I would just go ahead, break it in, open it, close it, put a little bit of oil in there, and just play with it. But let's go ahead and zoom on into this guy. So again, this is a pretty chunky knife, and we'll talk more about everything on it as we go. But you do get some pretty premium materials, and the price tag on this thing is not bad at all. So you do see you have your captured pivot with the Trivisa logo there. So you do have a titanium inlay here, or not inlay, overlay. You have a titanium overlay, and underneath that you have a carbon fiber, and that is a shred carbon fiber overlay. And that's all done over top of a steel frame. And then I believe you have a steel backspacer as well. Come around on the back side here, your standard folded steel pocket clip. It is a really nice pocket clip. This knife actually carries wonderfully. Like I said, like you guys know, I basketball shorts all the time. So this thing actually carries very nice in a set of basketball shorts. Does not have flush screws, but you can see there you've got a ton of space in between the pocket clip there. And again, on this side, same thing, titanium with your carbon fiber. And then you do have, I do believe that is a titanium thumb stud, if I'm not mistaken. And then this one is individually numbered. It's number 13. The knife is perfectly centered. Again, there's your backspacer. It is about a little bit more than a quarter, a little bit less than a half backspacer. I don't know. I'd say, yeah, you could say that. You could say it's a half-length backspacer. Very generous lanyard hole. You would not have any problems putting a lanyard on this thing. And then you have a couple of holes cut out there in the liners. All T8 hardware. Yeah, just a cool little knife. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the blade itself. So a wicked blade. Again, I apologize for the schmutz on the blade. Like I said, I have been carrying this guy. I have been using it. See if I can get that wiped off there. I said the grind on this thing is really crazy. It's very indicative of his grinds. So you've got a compound drop point, compound grind drop point here. You got a big old swedge, almost I don't know if you want to call that a harpoon, but a little bit of poonage there, a little bit. You do have a fuller that runs down, and then those massive thumb studs, which are very nice, very useful. Some big blocky jimping, which quite honestly doesn't do much in the way of actual function. They don't really grab very hard. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm biting down on them really hard, they do kind of give you a little bit of traction there. So maybe I called that a little too soon. But I don't. My hand isn't quite big enough to need that forward jimping. I mean, that's just stretching out for me. This knife is entirely too big for my hands, but I love it anyway. It's actually probably going to end up in my son's collection because he absolutely loves this thing. So yeah, fantastic blade. And then what's cool about this is if you look on this side, you can see, I don't know if we've seen that yet already, 14C. Now, looking at your grinds. Grinds look pretty uniform, pretty symmetrical. Now you are going to get a little bit of a different grind up here towards the tip of the blade because it is a compound grind, but they are symmetrical side to side. Again, I've been using this thing, so you're going to have a little bit of crap on the edge of the blade. But the grind itself looks fantastic. Tip is perfect. So very well done. Trivisa does do a fantastic job with their knives in general. I've never really had any issues with them as far as fit and finish or anything like that goes. Now, what's really crazy about this knife is that, now this is a big freaking knife, guys. So I think we are, let's see. Yeah, we're at a 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 inch blade. And a little over 9.5, right at a little over 9.5, almost 9 3/4 overall. So this is a chonker. I mean, and then you look at the blade thickness. So your blade stock, it is a thick boy. I could actually probably measure this with my ruler here. Yeah, it's an 1/8 of an inch thick. So the stock is 1/8 of an inch. And this knife is $90. $90 freaking dollars for titanium, carbon fiber, 14C, and that massive chunk of 14C for $90. Ambidextrous, so you do have a reversible pocket clip. Surprisingly, and this was one of the things that really shocked me when I picked this knife up, is it actually feels pretty damn good in hand. I mean, it just does. It's very interesting, but it definitely feels well and feels the hand very nicely. It doesn't feel like a massive knife when you're holding it. Now, for me, when I'm trying to close it, it kind of feels like a massive knife, just because it's not a super fidgety knife, so you have to get the. I'm trying not to hit my tripod here or the table, but you have to get it just right for it to want to try to drop on you. Now, I do have this one pretty well broken in, tuned it a little bit, so I mean it will flip open. I can even from time to time. Let's see if I can reverse flick this one. So I could reverse flick the one in Texas. So I can almost get this one out. It's not quite as broken in as the one that they had, the prototype that they had at Texas. So, but it's close. It's just not quite there yet. But I wanted to get this video done up and out to you guys. I don't have a piece of paper to do a cut test on. All right, sorry about that. I had to do a little bit of a jump cut there. The dog started barking, so yeah, like I was saying, so this thing is it's not quite 100% broke in, but you can get it to drop shut if you're just give it a little bit of wrist action there. Again, fantastic pocket clip, great pocket retention. Everything's great on it. Carries very well. I have been using this guy, so the edge is held up pretty doggone good. Now this is not a slicer. It's pretty thick behind the edge, so it's not a paper slicer. This thing will cut through. I mean, I've used it on zip ties and on the reels at work, the wooden reels. This thing will just absolutely cut like crazy. It's just not a slicer. It's just not what it's good for. But outside of that, I mean, fantastic in hand. The action again is not bad, especially when you consider it being on washers. Like I said, especially now that it's been broke in, you can get it to drop. I mean, it's got a really solid lock up on this crossbar lock. No up and down, no side to side. Well, got just a hair side by side. That's probably because I do have the back, or I do have the pivot backed out just a hair to be able to allow it to flip open really easily and to close one-handed. Just because a lot of times when I'm working, I can't use, excuse me, I don't have both hands free to be able to close a knife. So being able just to grab this thing and flick it down was necessary for the couple of days that I carried it. Yeah, fantastic blade. If you guys have not checked one of these out, I would suggest you do so. I think they're, like I said, I think they're just interesting enough. And they're built well. They're built like a damn tank. And they're cheap. I mean, like I said, this one with the carbon fiber is $90. I think the standard ones are like 70-ish, somewhere around there. The link will be below for these things. This is one that, Trivisa did not send this knife to me. But it's honestly, for as big as it is, surprisingly lightweight. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a heavier knife, but for as big as it is, being a 4+ inch blade, almost a 10-inch overall knife, you're looking at 7.5 ounces. So it is a big, heavy knife, but it is not quite as heavy as you would think it to be. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on this thing. I've talked to a couple of people on it. It is a very polarizing knife, and that's just kind of how his designs are. You either love them or you hate them. I happen to know my buddy Sharif loves this design, and I am in that boat as well. I think it's a awesome looking, kind of alien looking knife. Honestly, I think it kind of looks like some sort of a lizard there in the front. I mean, you've got like the mouth here. Kind of looks almost like a chameleon head there. So you've got the mouth here. You got the weird looking nose there. You got the eye. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just me seeing it, but I do think it looks sort of alien or reptilian or something. It's just a very interesting looking blade. And again, it doesn't break the bank. And, Trivisa 14C is some really great stuff. 14C in general, some great steel. And Trivisa treats that stuff really well. So yeah, all in all, like I said, guys, check one out. Let me know what you think in the descriptions or in the comments below. Check the description for all the links. My link tree is down there, as well as some the links for this and some others. So check all that stuff out, and I appreciate y'all as always. Please remember to be kind, be humble, be EDC. Y'all take care.